Coming on this podcast, just a man doing the best he can with what he got. And all right, this week we're talking about Jerri Green in our Tennessee governor's race deep dive. Now, let me say this up front. I'm getting this information directly from the candidates' website, their social media pages, their public appearances, and what I can actually find out about them. Now, if y'all got a better source, or if I missed something, let me know. I'm not claiming to know everything about these candidates. I am not. I'm evaluating what they're bringing to voters. And as a Tennessee voter, this is what I'm seeing. When I talked about Marsha Blackburn, one of the biggest criticisms was her lack of visibility. Her campaign feels like a defensive campaign. It's almost like she feels like because she won the Republican primary, it is a foregone conclusion that she's going to be the governor. And I don't like that, man. She's running from a defensive position. Like she doesn't have to be visible, doesn't have to do debates, doesn't have to do town halls, doesn't have to travel around Tennessee. It's like she feels like she won. And I don't like that. I really don't. I don't like it. I want candidates to show up, answer questions, and explain exactly what they plan to do. Now, I've seen more of Jerri Green. I've seen more campaigning, more public engagement, and more of her speaking directly to the people. Now, that could be because she's based in West Tennessee and I'm in West Tennessee. I'm acknowledging that possible bias. I'm acknowledging that, but I'm going by what I actually see. Like, I gotta go by what I actually see. Like, some people will accuse me of like being a homer for the Democratic side, and that's not what this is, man. It really isn't. I'm doing the same thing with every candidate. And next week, I'll be doing an independent. I will. Now, when you first visit Jerri Green's website, you definitely see the donate button. She wants your money. That's the first thing you're going to see. Hey, donate. There's no hiding that. But you also see information about early voting and the introduction explaining who she is. Like, she describes herself as a lifelong Tennessean, lawyer, public servant, educator, and mother of three. Like, she talks about living in Memphis, Nashville, and Knoxville. Like, she highlights her work as a public defender, her advocacy for living wages in the Memphis City Council, and her work involving healthcare access and fundamental freedoms in county government. Like, so right away, I noticed a major contrast between her website and Marsha Blackburn's. Blackburn's campaign introduces you to Donald Trump before she even introduces herself. I need to see Marsha Blackburn, not Donald Trump. The message appears to be, if you support Trump, support me. Jerri Green's website introduces you to Jerri Green. Yes, she's running as a Democrat, but she's selling herself first, and I respect that. Like, if you want to be governor, tell me who you are, not just which national politician you support. Like, seriously, who are you? What are you going to do? Define yourself. And off the top, man, I love it that Jerri Green is defining herself in her website. Right? Now, let's get to her platform. She lists support for working families, paid family leave, affordable childcare, and a living wage. She calls for a stronger public schools, like fully funded classrooms, respected teachers, and honest education without censorship or political interference. Now, on healthcare, she calls for expanding Medicaid, especially to rural Tennessee, while respecting a woman's decision regarding her own health, which I totally support. She also supports background checks, red flag laws, gun locks, clean air, safe water, and climate smart policies. Now, those are goals. They're not plans. And that's one of the criticisms of Marsha Blackburn's website. A list of things you want is not the same as explaining how you're going to accomplish them. But when you scroll down, Jerri Green actually provides what she calls her day one plan. And that got my attention. Off top, the first proposal is housing relief. She says she would use 10 million of TANF funding to help waive security deposits and provide housing assistance for more than 100,000 Tennessee families. Right? And TANF stands for Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. It's federal blocked grant money intended to support low-income families. Green then proposes using another 50 million in TANF funding to clear the childhood waiting list so parents don't have to choose between earning a paycheck and taking care of their children, which is a big thing, man. Like, one of the hurdles of becoming a new parent is deciding how you're going to pay for it. Like, childcare is ridiculous, man. I remember one time me and my brother, we went just to price out how much daycare was. And when they gave me the price of one kid, I'm like, hell nah, bro. Like, it made more sense for his wife to continue to take care of the kid, because if she started working, her whole paycheck was going to go to childcare. It was a wash. my boy Scott, same thing. His wife wanted to work a job, and when they started doing the numbers, because they had like 2 kids, when they started doing the numbers, it's like, man, I can't afford this. Like, stay home, take care of the kids. Maybe you can start working when the kids go to school. Like, seriously, they made the calculated decision that it was cheaper for her to watch the kids all the way until kindergarten because of the money. Like, having a kid in preschool and pre-K has way more benefits than just, allowing the parents to work. It helps them socialize, and studies show that the earlier you get them into school, the better off they are, right? So those should be main focuses of governors, in my opinion. So say what you want, at least she has a plan to deal with that. And let me say this. If the state is going to call itself pro-life, restrict abortion, and force women to carry pregnancies, then the state better have a serious plan for childcare. You can't tell me to have all these children and have no plan for them. You cannot demand that babies be born and then tell the parents, good luck. You're on your own now. Hey, we just wanted you to have them. You had the kid now. Personal responsibility. You should have kept it zipped. Wait, you told me I had to have this baby. Yep, I did. And now you better figure out how to take care of them, right? Crazy, man. Her next proposal is the use of 10 million in TANF funding to buy and erase medical debt for more than 100,000 Tennesseans. Now, I'm a little cautious about relying so heavily on TANF money. We need to know whether all these uses would meet federal TANF rules, right? We need to know that, right? Because there is rules to using TANF money. Like, whether the money is already committed elsewhere and whether these programs could continue after the initial funding runs out, right? So I am a little reluctant of that, but at least she has a plan and can tell me where she's getting the money. But Tennessee reportedly still has roughly 305 million in accumulated TANF reserves at the beginning of 2026. So Green is at least identifying a real funding source and giving us actual numbers. And for what I can tell, this is the only candidate for right now, in doing my research, that can actually give you where the money is coming from. I haven't seen that on Marsha Blackburn's website. That is what I've been asking candidates to do. Like, don't just tell me you support affordable housing. Like, tell me how much you want to spend, where the money is coming from, who will qualify, and how many people you expect to help. Her plan also calls for an executive order protecting doctors from prosecution for providing women's health care. Now, I'm completely on board with the principle behind that. I really am. All right. If my family ever faces the horrible choice between saving my wife's life and preserving a pregnancy, I truly believe the state has no damn business in what I decide. That choice belongs to me and my family, and my doctor, not the politician. However, I also want Green to explain exactly what that executive order could legally accomplish. Like, a governor cannot simply erase state laws with a pen. They can't. Like, so are you going to lobby the state legislators to change that law? I need more detail because that is important. She also wants to end cooperation between the Tennessee Highway Patrol and ICE. Now, she describes the current arrangement as a state-sponsored harassment of immigrant communities. And I agree. I really do. But given the expansion and overreach we have seen from immigration enforcement, I understand that argument. But once again, I want the details. Which agreements would be terminated? Like, what core operations would stop? What would continue when somebody is accused of a serious crime? Like, what is the plan for that? Now, next, she promises to restore expert leadership by appointing an education commissioner with classroom experience. I think that should have been common sense, though. But thank you, Jerri Green. You're right. We do need experts. Like, seriously, a healthcare commissioner grounded in science and an attorney general committed to the Constitution. Once again, these are all common sense things. But common sense ain't that common. So thank you, Jerri Green, for saying that. Like, those things should be obvious, but apparently they aren't anymore. Like, seriously, the depth of expertise has been a weird thing to look at. So I'm glad to see a gubernatorial candidate saying that. Like, we've reached a point where people act as if expertise is suspicious, as if somebody's uninformed version of common sense should carry the same weight as years of education, investigation, and professional experience. And it shouldn't. Like, her plan also says Tennessee would not renew its private prison contract with Core Civic. Thank God. Incarceration should not be a profit-making business. It should not. Like, once you introduce a profit motive, the goal becomes cutting costs, filling beds, and increasing returns. Like, those incentives do not naturally align with rehabilitation, public safety, or like humane treatment. It doesn't even like correlate with reducing the prison population. If you got a for-profit model and you only make money by people being in this building, the obvious goal and objective is to get more people in this building, right? Like, come on, man. You hear what I'm saying? Like, you making money off prisoners. You know what? I'm not even gonna make that comparison, but do the math. Like, walk that 2 steps further, and you can tell why we should all have a problem with this. Green also says she would sign an executive order affirming that the Tennessee Valley Authority should remain public. I agree with keeping the TVA public. Like, utilities are essential services, and most people cannot like realistically shop around for other electric companies. Like, I'll say this. In Japan, the main power source was nuclear energy. But like, the nuclear energy company and the natural gas company will compete for your business. Like, every once in a while, the gas company will knock on my door and say, hey, man, are you happy with your nuclear energy rates? And I'd be like, no, I'm not. Hey, I can get you this cheaper. And they'll have deals and sales, right? So I had real competition I can choose from. We don't really have that in America, man, especially not in Tennessee. Like, you have one utility company for that area. That area probably gets its power from TVA, and then they give you a rate on top of that. You have no competition. So if you're going to have like only one provider serving the area, the provider must be accountable to the public and be forced to have like affordability and reliability, like not simply shareholder profits. So yes, I totally agree with Jerri Green on that. However, TVA is a federally owned corporation. A Tennessee governor could like oppose privatization. I mean, it's good she's had to stance, but I do question like how much she can do. But that part of her plan is more of a public commitment than an enforcement guarantee. So now I really want to dig into healthcare because this issue needs to be hit hard. The United States spends billions of dollars supporting healthcare programs and strengthening healthcare systems around the world. Like historically, America has been the world's largest donor of global health programs. We support every other country's healthcare. And I get it too, man, because healthcare abroad does affect us. Right? And I support helping fight HIV, malaria, tuberculosis, and disease outbreaks in other countries. I truly support that. This is not a argument to stop helping people overseas. But my question is, if we understand that healthcare saves lives overseas, why do we suddenly act confused about healthcare at home? Like, we recognize healthcare as a human need when we fund programs in other countries. But when working Americans ask for affordable coverage, suddenly we're told, hey man, healthcare is a luxury. Government can't help with that. You got a job? Or like somebody might be getting like something they didn't earn. I can't give you healthcare because if I give you healthcare, that person over there who didn't earn the healthcare will get the healthcare. Meanwhile, you still don't have healthcare. America does help finance healthcare services and public health infrastructures abroad while remaining the only wealthy industrialized nation without universal healthcare coverage for its own people. Seriously, we give billions of dollars to Israel, and guess what they got in Israel? Universal healthcare. Seriously, we're the only industrialized country who doesn't do that. Right? Like, that contradiction deserves to be analyzed. It deserves to be confronted. Like, Tennessee has also refused to fully expand Medicaid, like leaving federal money available while rural hospitals struggle and working people fall into coverage gaps. So when Jerri Green says she wants to expand Medicaid, especially in rural Tennessee, that's not some abstract talking point. That is something we need. We need it, man. Look, my family doesn't live in quote unquote rural Tennessee. They live in Fayette County. But the closest hospital is not in Fayette County. It's in Shelby County. We need a hospital close to us in Fayette County. That means more people. If you put that hospital in Fayette County, that means more people will be receiving preventative care before they end up in an emergency room. It means helping people manage diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, mental health conditions before those problems become catastrophic. It could also mean like more support for rural hospitals that are fighting to keep up and keep their doors open. Right? But I still need her to show me a full plan. Like, how many Tennesseans would gain coverage? Like, how much would the state pay? How much federal money would Tennessee receive? Like, how would she expand or get the suspension through a Republican-controlled legislator. Like, those are the measurables I'm looking for. So far, I'll give Jerri Green credit. Like, she has presented more than a collection of slogans. She has identified specific actions, funding sources, dollar amounts, and a number of families she expects to help. So that does not automatically make every proposal like great. I'm not saying that, but it gives us something concrete to investigate, question, and debate. And that's already more substance than I've found in any page of Marsha Blackburn's campaign website. And let me just say this, man. I was digging through Jerri Green's website. And one thing she has, and I'm glad she brought this up. And let me just pull this up in real time. She has an AI platform, a human-first AI agenda. Once again, contrasting that to Marsha Blackburn, who says she wants Tennessee to be the crypto capital of the United States. You're not talking about the people. At least Jerri Green has an approach that says, man, look, human rights. She's going to find large corporations that replace 25 or more workers with AI to pay for local job retraining. Look, man, that's what we need. We need somebody who's going to address the deficiencies in the workforce. Now, I'm going to be honest, man, I have not endorsed any candidate yet. I have not. I'm just going by each candidate, and I'm going to do independent next week. All right. But right now, out of all the candidates I have done this research on, thank you, Jerri Green, for actually giving me something tangible to look at. Just something to think about. Right. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this Roland Martin situation. But I want to talk about it differently than everybody else. First of all, why should I give a fuck? That's the honest question. Why should I care about this? Seriously, what exactly is this? All right. Why? What exactly is this public interest story here? Like, why do we care here? Like, you got unverified claims about Roland Martin circulating online that somebody obtained compromising images allegedly involving him, right? There have been reports that his legal representative describes the situation as an attempted extortion. I cannot independently verify what happened. I don't know who's in the images. I haven't even looked at the images or what the circumstances were. So I'm not going to repeat every salacious detail as if gossip automatically becomes journalism once enough people share it. I'm not. Because look, man, I hate that. I hate this whole online industry of just spreading rumors about people and then the rumors become true no matter what. Because once they're out there, you can't take them back. But if alleged conduct involving consenting adults happened, I don't care. I don't care what two consenting adults do. Roland Martin is a media personality. He's not my pastor. I ain't in a relationship with this guy. He's not my personal moral compass. I don't know what arrangements exist between him and his wife. I don't know, bro. It's more than one way to do relationships in 2026. I don't know what the conversation they had or like what violates their marriage. I don't know what agreements they have. If his wife can forgive him, who the hell am I not to? Seriously, I really don't. Like, the potentially important story here is not Roland Martin. No, the important story is whether somebody obtained private material and attempted to embarrass and control and extort him. That should be the conversation, man. That's the conversation we all should be having. Why does somebody believe they can take another person's private moments, post them online, and use public humiliation as a weapon to get money or to shame them? Shame is the product being sold here. Like, the person holding the material wants Roland Martin to panic. Like, the blogger wants attention. The platform wants engagement. The audience wants entertainment. Everybody gets something except the person whose privacy has been exploited. In real talk, if I was Roland, assuming there was no misconduct here and everything was consensual, I would take a look right directly in the camera and say, yo, I did it. Fuck y'all. That was me. Them leopard draws, photos, that's me. I did that, dog. I would look right in the camera and tell them folks, yep, it was me. Because once you remove the shame, you remove the most power that the extortionist has. That they're using your shame. It's just like those Bitcoin scammers who always say, hey man, we caught you pleasuring yourself on your camera and we got the video. Send me $5,000 in Bitcoin and I won't release it. I got one of those scam emails and I told dude, hey man, let that shit fly. I look great naked. And hey man, send me a copy, dog. If you got a copy, send it to me. Hey, you are promoting your boy. I appreciate it. Like, having an affair, if that's even what happened, would be a private moral failure. But threatening to distribute somebody's intimate material is an entirely different act. We should not become an accomplice to exploitation just because we think the person being targeted is a hypocrite. We also need to recognize the racial double standards involved in how these scandals are discussed, by the way. So when a prominent Black person gets caught in something salacious, the scandal often becomes bigger than that individual. Like, suddenly it is used to discredit Black leadership, Black institutions, and sometimes the entire Black community. See? That's who those people are. The individual's private failures become an indictment of the whole movement. And that's what I see happening in this Roland Martin scandal. But when a white politician or a member of a prominent white political family gets into trouble, we are more likely to hear that this is a personal matter, right? Like that the family is going through a difficult time and that we should wait for all the facts, but that grace should be given on the other side as well, right? Like, look at this current case involving Representative Lauren Boebert's son, Tyler Boebert. According to the Garfield County Sheriff's Office, Tyler Boebert was arrested August 2026 on sexual exploitation of a child. Those are the charges. He was released on $10,000 bond. Like, these remain allegations. And he's entitled to his due process. Let me just point that out. News reports say the charges involve a video allegedly recorded February 2024 when he was 18 years old and the girl was 17. Like, the two were reportedly less than a year apart. Like, the central allegation is not simply that it was an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old having sex. The serious issue is the alleged recording and distribution of the intimate material involving someone legally classified as a minor. The problem is a 17-year-old girl was recorded without her permission, assumedly. Like, we also need to be careful about what is known here. It's not being conclusively established publicly who distributed the video or exactly how it circulated. Tyler Bobert has been charged, not convicted. But this case still brings us back to the same larger subject: the recording, distribution, and weaponization of people's intimate moments. That's the problem here. The problem, one case allegedly involves material depicting a minor. The other involves unverified claims about a grown man's private sexual conduct. Those situations are legally and morally different. The common thread is the digital exploitation. Like, we've created an online economy where humiliation is profitable. A private image gets leaked, bloggers monetize it, social media accounts repost it, algorithms recommend it, and millions of people participate in violating someone, all while pretending they're merely discussing the news. But they're really just exploiting somebody else's misery. Like, no, if you are reposting somebody's private sexual material without consent, you are not simply committing exploitation. You are participating in it. You're not commenting on exploitation. You are participating in exploitation. The person who records, or distribute the material without consent should be held accountable. The person threatening publication for money or leverage should be held accountable. Bloggers who knowingly publish exploitative material should be held accountable. Platforms should be responsible for providing a fast removal process, eliminating like duplicate uploads, preserving relevant evidence, and preventing their algorithms from turning abuse into trending content. Like, the Federal Takedown Act now requires covered platforms to provide a process for removing non-consensual intimate images. Like, after receiving a valid request, they generally must remove the material and known identical copies within 48 hours. Like, that's a start. But enforcement has to be real. Platforms should not be allowed to make money from exploitative content for 3 days and, collect millions of impressions and then quietly remove it and be like, hey man, all the damage is done. No, the material may involve a minor. The standard should be even stricter if it does. Like, do not download it. Do not screenshot it. Do not repost it. Raise awareness. Right? Inform authorities. Children should not have their abuse endlessly reposted under like an excuse of public discussion. No, you shouldn't do that, man. And the public has a responsibility too. We cannot complain about exploitative bloggers while clicking on every goddamn link, like sharing every rumor and zooming in on every alleged photograph. And some of y'all gonna ask like, hey man, why are you talking about this? Yeah, exactly. That's my point though, right? The point is that we shouldn't be talking about this. We really shouldn't. Now, let's deal with the political contrast. And let's talk about this. Okay. So seriously. The sitting president was found liable by a civil jury for sexual abuse and defamation of E. Jean Carroll. Judge Lewis Kaplan later explained that the conduct established by the jury fits the ordinary meaning of rape. Now, with that knowledge in hand, ask me why in the hell I would give a damn about Roland Martin engaging in consensual acts, right? Why is that a moral emergency? Why should I care? The sitting president is convicted of these claims. And we're worried about Roland Martin? Seriously? We have lowered the political standards so far that like proving findings of sexual abuse do not prevent someone from becoming president. Yet a black media figure who's alleged to have like weird sex kinks is something I should care about? Make that make sense. Like, this does not mean we should ignore when powerful people do misconduct. But I will argue with you, Roland Martin ain't that damn powerful. He's not, man. Like, seriously. Like, it's something to be said about hypocrisy, exploitation, abuse, criminal conduct, even consensual behavior. But honestly, this is a case of none of this being my goddamn business. Consent is the dividing line. Like, two adults voluntarily doing something consensually in private, it's not the same thing as sexual abuse. Like, cheating on a spouse is not the same thing as rape. It's not. Recording someone without consent is not the same as like consensually making a private recording. And look, when y'all find out later on that I'm a sexual deviant, just know everything that comes out, it was consensual for me. Like, we flatten all these situations into like sex scandals. And that prevents us from discussing what's actually really happening and what the actual harm is. Like, and I also want to be fair to Lauren Boebert, right? She had her own embarrassing public incident at that Beetlejuice performance. Her son has also faced several separate legal problems. Like, I could connect all of those and declare it a pattern of immorality within her family. Like, even, Lauren Boebert's ex-husband has things like that. But I'm not even going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Seriously. But that would reproduce the exact behavior I'm criticizing if I did it. If I did that, I would be the same guy who's telling y'all don't do it. Parents do not automatically own every action committed by their adult children. Like, Lauren Boebert should be judged on her conduct, her political positions, and the response to these allegations. Tyler Boebert should be judged individually because those were his actions. That's the grace Black families should receive too. If this involves a prominent Black Congresswoman and her Black son, do we honestly believe that every commentator would be carefully discussing like the mother and the child and how they're separated and they shouldn't be held accountable or connected together? Or would some people just immediately start talking about how dysfunctional Black families are? Oh, it'd definitely be something about absentee fathers and sexual deviance and the alleged moral collapse of the Black community. That's the double standard I want to point out. However, the answer is not dehumanizing Boebert's family. Well, the answer is to stop turning every individual failure of a Black person into evidence that the whole Black community collectively has failed. Much like white people do not answer for the failings of all white people, that shouldn't be the standard for Black people either. As I said when discussing Jesse Jackson, the voice should never become bigger than the movement. The personality should never become bigger than what we're fighting for. And if Roland Martin turns out to be flawed, then Roland Martin is flawed. That doesn't automatically make everything Roland Martin was talking about false. Like, Martin Luther King Jr. allegedly had affairs with white women. Hey, John F. Kennedy had affairs allegedly with Marilyn Monroe. That doesn't negate all the good stuff they did. Adults should be capable of holding two thoughts at once. A person can contribute something valuable and still be deeply flawed. Like, that's just it, man. You can criticize the flaws without erasing the contributions. Like, you can condemn the hypocrisy without participating in the exploitation. That's where I land on Roland Martin. If evidence emerges of abuse, then that's a whole different story that we need to talk about. But as it stands now, man, it's an act between consensual adults that was recorded, and now Roland Martin is being exploited. And I think we should take a little bit more concern with him being exploited. But if this is simply somebody trying to humiliate him with private material involving consenting adults, I'm not going to participate in that. The real scandal is an internet culture that turns privacy into entertainment. A culture that rewards extortion as attention. and allows platforms to profit while somebody's life is being torn apart. Like, that's the conversation we should be having. And that's something to think about, man. And that's coming out of this podcast with Marcus L-Spade Johnson, man. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Follow me on the Facebooks and all the other socials and whatever. Like, follow, or don't like. I don't give a damn. Love you guys. Peace.